August 9, 2022. The courtroom in Dallas was silent as the judge delivered the only sentence the law allowed. Life without parole. No speeches, no mercy, no way back. Prosecutors made it clear that Yaser Said would spend the rest of his existence under the absolute control of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, a system built to erase individuality and enforce obedience. The gavel fell, and in that moment, the man who once controlled his family's every move lost all control of his own fate. Yaser Said, convicted of executing his 2 teenage daughters, was stepping into a reality far more unforgiving than any courtroom drama. What awaited him inside the McConnell Unit, one of Texas's most notorious maximum security prisons, was not reflection, not redemption, and certainly not forgiveness. It was a daily existence shaped by concrete walls, relentless isolation, and the constant presence of men who knew exactly what he had done. By the end of this video, you will understand why his sentence may be a slower, more psychological form of punishment than death itself. Watch until the end and tell us in the comments whether you believe life without parole is the ultimate justice. Because within hours of entering the prison system, Said experienced his first brutal reality check, a glimpse into a future that would stretch on for decades. And that moment was only the beginning of a lifetime he could never escape. Every day forward would rewrite what punishment truly means for him. To understand the world closing in on Yaser Said, you first have to understand the world he destroyed. On January 1, 2008, inside an abandoned taxicab parked near the Omni Hotel in Irving, Texas, police made a discovery that would shock the nation. Inside the vehicle were the bodies of 2 teenage girls. 18-year-old Amina Said had been shot twice in the chest. 17-year-old Sarah Said had been shot 9 times. Her final moments were captured in a chilling 911 call. Her voice was weak, fading, terrified. She told the dispatcher that she was dying. She told them her father had shot her. By the time officers located the vehicle, both sisters were dead. Their father, Yaser Said, was nowhere to be found. Within hours, he vanished. The investigation that followed revealed a deeply disturbing pattern of control and fear inside the Said household. Yaser had tightly monitored his daughters' lives. He restricted who they could talk to, where they could go, and who they could date. He was reportedly enraged when he learned his daughters were dating American boys and rejecting traditional arranged marriages. Friends, teachers, and family members described him as authoritarian and obsessive, someone who believed his word was law. Days before the murders, Amina wrote an email to a teacher that would later become one of the most haunting pieces of evidence in the case. She said she was scared, that her father was arranging her marriage, and that he had told her he could not delay it anymore. The email ended with a sentence that now reads like a prophecy. She said he would, without any drama or doubt, kill them. On Christmas Day 2007, the girls and their mother fled to Oklahoma, desperate to escape what they believed was an escalating threat. But on New Year's Eve, Yaser convinced his ex-wife to bring the girls back. He promised he had forgiven them. He promised he wanted to make peace. The next day, he told his daughters he was taking them out to eat. Instead, he drove them to a parking lot and executed them. What happened next was almost as shocking as the crime itself. Yaser Said disappeared. He became one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives, evading capture for over 12 years. His ability to hide was not coincidence. He was protected by his own family. In August 2020, after years of surveillance, federal agents discovered him living in a hidden room inside a converted garage in Justin, Texas. He was sleeping on a cot, concealed by his brother and his son. Both men were later convicted and sentenced to prison for harboring a fugitive. Even his own family sacrificed their freedom to protect him. But eventually, his time ran out. His trial began in August 2022, nearly 14 years after the murders. Prosecutors presented the 911 call, Amina's email, and testimony describing years of control and intimidation. In a surprising move, Yaser took the stand. He denied killing his daughters. He claimed someone else was stalking them and that he fled because he was afraid. The defense argued he was targeted due to his Muslim faith. Prosecutors rejected that narrative, describing him as a narcissist who believed he was smarter than everyone else. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict. Guilty of capital murder. Yaser showed no visible emotion. Before sentencing, his ex-wife delivered a victim impact statement that shook the courtroom. She called him a devil. She said he murdered their daughters and destroyed her family in a single night. Even as she spoke, Yaser attempted to talk to his attorney, appearing disengaged and unremorseful. Then came the sentence: life without parole. And with it, the beginning of a reality he could no longer control. Shortly after sentencing, Yaser Said was transferred to the McConnell Unit near Beeville, Texas. This was not an ordinary prison. The McConnell Unit is one of Texas's most dangerous maximum security facilities, housing thousands of inmates, many serving life sentences with no possibility of release. These are men who will never leave. Most have accepted that reality. Yaser had not. When he arrived, he was stripped of everything. His personal belongings were confiscated. He was searched, photographed, fingerprinted, and issued a prison uniform. He was assigned an inmate number. From that moment forward, he ceased to exist as a person in the eyes of the system. He became a number. That number would follow him until his death. Life inside McConnell is governed by rigid structure. Yaser was placed in a cell measuring roughly 60 square feet, about the size of a small bathroom. Inside was a metal bunk bolted to the wall, a combined steel sink and toilet, and a small shelf. There were no personal decorations, no windows with a meaningful view, no privacy. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead day and night. His routine was suffocating. He woke at 5 in the morning to the sound of loudspeakers announcing breakfast. Meals were delivered through a slot in the door. He ate alone. Throughout the day, officers conducted frequent head counts, monitoring every movement. Showers were allowed only 3 times a week, with strict time limits. He was escorted in shackles and handcuffs, given 10 minutes, and returned to his cell for another 23 hours. Recreation time lasted 1 hour per day. He was escorted to a small outdoor cage surrounded by razor wire and chain link fencing. There was no grass, no trees, no horizon, only concrete and sky. He walked in circles, sometimes pacing, sometimes standing still, staring into nothing. The rest of the day was spent inside the cell. Silence broken only by metal doors, distant voices, and occasional shouts. Every day identical. Every week identical. Every year identical. Within his first week, Yaser filed a formal grievance about missing items on his meal tray. He complained about commissary access, but the most disturbing complaints involved harassment from other inmates. Through the ventilation system, he heard voices, insults, and threats day and night. Officers confirmed inmates were verbally targeting him, but they could not identify who was responsible. His request to be moved was denied. The system told him this was normal. For a man who once controlled every detail of his household, the inability to control even noise entering his cell was devastating. His complaints only made him a bigger target. In prison culture, weakness is exploited, and Yaser's reputation followed him. Killing your own children is considered one of the most unforgivable crimes in inmate culture. He was despised. He was isolated. He was vulnerable. The physical environment inside McConnell added another layer of suffering. The prison was built on unstable land, and when it rains, water seeps through walls and foundations. Some inmates report wastewater dripping into their cells from higher tiers. Cells flood. The walls crack. The ceilings leak. Heat is another relentless enemy. Many Texas prison units lack air conditioning. During summer, temperatures exceed 100 degrees. Concrete walls trap heat. Fans provide little relief. Inmates lie on their bunks drenched in sweat, unable to sleep, unable to escape. This is not a temporary hardship. This is every summer for the rest of Yaser's life. Staffing shortages make the environment even more dangerous. Thousands of incidents occur each year, including assaults and homicides. Fewer officers mean slower response times and less intervention. Alliances form based on race, gangs, and geography. Those without protection are at the highest risk. Yaser has no allies. He is alone. And in prison, being alone can be fatal. So why is his sentence considered worse than death? First time. Death is an ending. Yaser faces decades of monotony, isolation, and psychological erosion. Second, loss of control. Every aspect of his life is dictated by the state. For someone obsessed with dominance, this is torture. Third, the environment. Heat, leaks, tasteless food, thin mattresses, constant surveillance. Fourth, reputation. He is hated. He is reminded daily of what he did. Violence is always a possibility. And finally, permanence. There is no release. No parole. No change. Only endless repetition. This is his forever.at sentencing. Patricia Owens said, "You deserve to die now, not in prison. You took my life. You took my family in one night." In many ways, her words captured the reality. Death would have been fast and final. But Yaser Said's punishment is to exist inside what he created. Day after day, year after year, inside walls where he has no power, no control, and no exit. Sarah's final 911 call still hangs over him. "My dad shot me. I am dying." Those words ended his freedom and became a permanent echo inside his mind. Inside McConnell Unit, he cannot outrun them. Other inmates repeat them through vents, through corridors, through whispers meant to cut deeper. In the silence of his cell, in the noise of the tear, in every stare from men who know his crime, he carries that weight alone. Yaser Said's reality is now static, mechanical, and psychological. The same concrete, the same steel, the same narrow routine repeating without mercy. The same voices, the same heat, the same 1 hour in a fenced yard, the same 23 hours behind a locked door. This is his existence. This is his sentence. This is his forever. And unlike execution, there is no release, only time. If this deep dive into Yaser Said's prison life changed how you see punishment, like the video and subscribe for more true crime documentaries from Court of Secrets. Tell us in the comments, is life without parole a harsher fate than the death penalty? Your voice helps shape the debate on justice, punishment, and mercy. So share your thoughts and join the discussion below right now. See you in next true crime case.